But this slash it or exit sounds like a TV show, but it's basically, this is an example. We would basically identify the major scale. This is a D flat major scale, and we would slash it. We would basically identify everything in that world. But basically there's 12 major keys, so there's 12 major chords. All right, there's 12 major scales, so there's 12 major chords. 12, 12. All right, so we just should, in this context, it should feel like a common number. Jesus had how many disciples or disciplines, like Medea say? How many disciplines? 12. All right, there's only 12 keys. In your workbook or on your paper, if you remember how to draw a keyboard, you start slashing. Basically, you would name the major scale. You can print this out or something like this. You can print it out 12 times or 24 times. Name the major scale. So whatever you want to put here in the blank, for an example, you can put C. So now you would have to start slashing. What do I mean by that? Start slashing. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. We already know that's the number system. We know that's the scale degrees. So if we start on C, we end on C. If we start on B flat, we end on. If we start on F, we end on. So the first slash will be F, and then the next slash. Alphabetical order. I cannot stress that enough. Alphabetical sounds like my name, Alpheus. Alphabetical order. Alphabetical order. Very important. You don't necessarily have to have a keyboard to basically start slashing the major scale. You can just write C on your paper. Let's just come from C. Everybody loves C. Let's just start shouting out some other keys. You can write F on your paper. What comes after F? G. What comes after G? And so on and so on. So alphabetical order is a basically huge and composing a major scale. Alphabetical order, all right? Building major chords. Guys, you're gonna clap your hands, you're gonna speak in tongues. I don't know however you're gonna praise them in your own way. When you see this chart, I have labored to compose so you can see what needs to be seen so you can play worship piano. So building major chords charts. Memorize each major chord. I got to say that 3 times because that's part of memorization, repetition. Memorize each major chord. Memorize each major chord. Memorize each major chord. Memorize each major chord. Because you're going to need them when you're playing in different keys, all right? So this chart here, you can print this out 12 times, or you can write it on your paper and basically pick a root. So any questions about how to form a major chord from the major scale? All right, when we get our left hand and we add the 5th to the already suggested octaves, we have now the worship bass. You're going to start to see it called the worship bass. I may say rolling bass. So in the key of C, we have the C major scale, we have the C major chord, and then we have the rolling bass, which is C and C. Octaves, and then in the middle of it, we have G, which is a 5th above C or 5th below, or 5th between the 2 octaves. All right, C, D, E, F, G, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, C. This is how our left hand is basically going to play worship piano from here on out. And so when we are in the C slot, we are playing 5ths. fifths. Why is it fifth, sir? Because G is a fifth above C. It's a fifth above the root. Root, the beginning point, home, tonic. So a fifth above C is G. And when we roll this, we have instantly transformed any song to a worship feel. So I'm going to start calling this worship bass. I'm going to do this about 15 times. If you can join me, I'm playing C with my pinky. I'm playing G with my pointer finger, left hand. I'm playing the top C with my thumb. You can see the example here on the keyboard. I'm going up and I'm going down just for an exercise. If you have a foot pedal, I'll teach you how to work it next week, but you can mash it and start to hear a transformation. You can play it and stop, mash the pedal. This is so professional. It is so common in every genre: country, worship, gospel, R&B, jazz. As a matter of fact, I'll give you a sneak peek. This is the same interval. It's the distance between two notes. You're going to hear this interval, and it's basically a rolling bass. That's starting to sound like what? That is, when you hear that, so now my ears is saying that is a fifth apart. That is a fifth apart. So now we're back in the key of C. We have our C major scale, which we should know by now. We can make our C major chord. This is a picture of it. This is kind of a picture chord chart. C, E, G. You can fill in this yourself, or you can mimic C, E, G, 1, 3, 5 from the C major scale. Once you put that together, you have the C major chord. Memorize it forever. Your left hand, so you can play that with your right hand, C major chord. With your left hand, you're playing the C rolling bass or worship bass, and it sounds like this. So I played the C chord. You see it lighting up, light it up. All right, and then my left hand, I'm playing the worship bass. If I do this at the same exact time, this is what it's going to sound like. I'm going to play the chord with my right hand, C major chord, and I'm going to start with my pinky and roll my bass. If I keep everything down at the same time, it will sound like this. Really full. Questions. We're going to do this for every single key tonight. Every single key. We only have 11 more to go. This right here, guys, will set you up for success for the number system, for playing songs. I'm giving you every single key. Now we are going to do the key of D major. It looks different from the key of C because there's a lot, some black notes going on here. All right. Michael Jackson wrote a song. He said, doesn't matter if you are black or white. D major has white and black notes. All right. It starts on D. D is the 1. Okay. D is the 1. E is the 2. You already have this, so no worries. 3 is F sharp. G is 4. A is 5. B is 6. And C sharp is 7. Back to 1. I'm missing a number here, so I will correct that. So now, how do we get a D major chord? How do we get a D major chord? D is the root. F sharp is the 3. A is the 5. Now we have D with our right hand, F sharp, A. This is the D major chord. Where did I get this from? I got this chord from the D major scale. If I know the D major scale, the only thing I did was just play the tenor note, tenor, alto, soprano, soprano, alto, tenor. Now with the rolling bass, it applies to every single key. The rolling bass or the worship bass concept is basically 1 5 1. In the key of D, this is how it looks. If I go back to where we came from, I'm going here. I'm just playing the two chords that I just introduced to you with the rolling bass. And I'm using my foot pedal. All right. How am I able to do this? Because I know the D major scale. I played the D major chord. And I added the rolling bass to every major chord should be accompanied with a worship bass or rolling bass.